I'm covered in dust. Just finished a small batch of knives. I'll show you the dog's down here. I'm not making noise. I'll show you the 4 classics that I've got available. 2 are finished now, 2 are waiting for leather work. Before I show you them, I'll share a quick tip on how to prepare your scales. I want to show you. There's a piece of wood that I've stabilised. This is elm. It's been stabilised, and I want to show you a method that I find for working out the centre line to cut it in half. It's hardly rocket science, but sometimes you're working with dark wood, and if you use, I used to find the centre line, measure across. I used to measure across, find the centre there, put a little dot, and then measure across here, find the centre there, put a little dot, and then get a ruler, and I used to draw the line very carefully, and that was fine, especially if you had a light wood and you had a marker pen or a pencil. Pencils leave a very faint line, and sometimes on dark wood you can't see it. Of course, you've got a huge amount of contrast with a black Sharpie on a light wood. But again, if you're using a dark wood like desert ironwood, which can be almost black in places, and you draw your line, and then you go back and look at that line a few minutes later when the ink is dried, you can hardly see it. It's become invisible. So all I do now, and it doesn't matter whether the wood's light, dark, or whatever colour it is, doesn't matter. Just get myself some masking tape. In this case it's frog tape, and then I just tape up the piece of wood that I want to use as my scales. And then I've immediately got a nice background that a line will show up on. But I don't use a marker pen anymore. There's no need. I just get an old pair of vernier gauges, measure the width, in this case it's 32, divide that by 2, get it in half, 16 mil, so 16 mil, and then draw the line, turn it round, draw the line, and I got a line very easy to follow. I can go on the bandsaw, cut that in half, and then there's my 2 scales, as easy as that. Well, I hope you found that tip interesting. It's the dog. What are you doing? She's just took a crisp packet out of the bin. They're terrible. My dogs will empty, if you put anything in a bin, if it's open at the top they can get their snouts in there. Whatever goes in the bin ends up coming out. And there's the other one. Happy dogs. Happy dogs. You happy?
Happy dogs. Good girls.
Well, now you know what the noises in the background are. So this is a reality show, if you like, a reality show. So anyway, knives available. First up, they're all classics in this batch. 01 tall steel, or 01 high carbon steel, call it what you want. 01. Just had to wipe off the arm hair off of that one, because I just stropped it and just done an arm hair shave test with it. So this one is olive wood. There you go, olive wood, which has gone through the stabilising process. Black G10 liners, tapered tang, quad mosaic pins, it's a very, very pretty knife, and as you no doubt saw, also a very sharp knife. We can get those nice curly cues of goodness. Get the focus, yeah, curly cues of goodness there, look. So that'll be going up available probably tomorrow on the website. I've had a busy day today. I'm a bit too tired to man the computer and sell knives today. The next one is another classic. They're all right hand sheaves. They've all got danglers with the logo stamped in them, like that, and on the side of the sheath as well. So this is quite a tight fit at the moment because it's brand new, to expect that. So when I remove the knife, I'll show you, I lever it to start off with. It will slacken off with use, because if you just go and pull it out, it's uncontrolled. It can fly out and you could hurt somebody or yourself. But by levering it, it comes out nicely. And then, let's say a few times of doing that, and it'll let's just get it in focus. It will slacken off and just be a nice fit. So this knife is stabilised Norwegian Massa birch. I had to fill the handle on this. Yeah, was it this side? Yeah, I had to fill this because there was a flaw in the wood, natural flaw, and nothing you can do about it. And I had to put a bit of filler in here, but it's done a reasonable job. So again, it's a tapered tang. Quad mosaic pins. Again, get that focus on it. Is it focused? Can't see. Drop to see if it's focused or not. I think it is. Super sharp blade. There's a piece of receipt paper, which is very fine. So that's that one. Excuse my hands. They've been fresh in the workshop today, and I'm covered in dust and grime. So that's that knife. Now the knives in the quick tip that I just shared, you saw me flattening off, cutting wood blocks into scales, and so those scales have now been fitted to the knives, and there they are. So those are the 2 blocks of wood you saw me cutting in that quick tip clip that I showed earlier. So I'll run through these one at a time. I've not stropped these yet. So this one's elm. Piece of elm on that. Red G10 liners. Tapered tang. The sheaves for these have been wet formed. They're in the drying cabinet. I like to leave them a couple of days in the drying cabinet to get all the moisture out. And I can be happy in my own mind. I can send them out and they're not going to be received at the other end covered in rust. Something that I'm aware of with freshly ground steel is that it hasn't had a chance to form any slight patination, and what patination does, it stops the interaction of oxygen, if you like, in the atmosphere with the steel, and basically it stops rusting, or it reduces rusting. So at the moment this is all brand new, fresh steel exposed to the air, and I think it needs a little bit of time to age, if that makes sense, just to give it a chance to form that patination. And I don't think it takes very long, and the patination in its early stages you won't even see it, because it's just almost such a fine layer, but it does a great job of stopping O1 from rusting. Because I've got blades, I just noticed that with freshly ground steel it can rust easy, but if you leave it for a short period of time, then it doesn't rust so readily. Then rust is destructive, patination is good. So you've got to aim for patination. So that's that one. I'm not sure if I'll have that one ready this week or maybe early next, by the time I've dried off the sheaves. This is the other one. This one had a whacking great knot. This is the problem you get with when you're working with natural materials. Let's get it to focus. You've got to work with what you've got, and I've had to fill that. But I've done a good job of filling that. So this is stabilised massa birch on this one. Tapered tang, red G10 liners. So again, hopefully, let's get that to focus. Camera wants to lock onto my face all the time. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. It's the programming in these modern cameras wants to grab anything that looks like a face. So that's that. Hopefully you can see that. There you go. So that's the knives available, or coming available shortly. So I think that's just about it for this video. What have I got on the go? I've got 2 more classics to build up. One has been built up for somebody who's requested a maple handle. So I haven't got any maple stabilised. Well, I've got maple actually in this computer. I've got maple in the stabilising process now, but it takes a couple of 3 weeks to get it through that process. So I've got to build that up, and that'll be coming up in the next 2 or 3 weeks. I've got one other classic I've got to build up. Might get that done next week. And I've got 6 bibby knives, which are the smaller bushcraft knife, and I'll be working on them next week as well. After that, we're going to do some camp knives, some stainless knives, maybe a small batch of neck knives, and then before we know it, it'll be Christmas. So anyway, thanks for watching, and hope the quick tips help somebody, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.